My name is Becca. Welcome to Get Your Play Online. Today is Wellness Wednesday, so we're going to be doing a little sensory activity and talking about utilizing items found in our home as well as our sense of touch to help in positive coping as well as stress relief. Sound good? All right. Getting things moved around there. Alrighty. So before we start, we want to make sure that we've gathered all of our supplies, and it might be helpful also to grab some paper towels just to have it nearby for spills and stuff like that. So I'm going to go through the supplies with you, okay? So to start off with, we are going to need a mixing bowl, okay? Any sort of mixing bowl will do, okay? So a mixing bowl. Then we also need some flour. Yours might be in a baggie, mine's just in this jar. Okay. Then we have baby oil. Doesn't matter the brand. This brand is called Tippy Toes. Johnson makes one as well. You can use Walmart brand. Doesn't matter, anything you can find. And then we also need some sort of pan to put it in. So it can be a sheet pan like you put cookies on, or it could be a pizza pan, or it could be Tupperware maybe, or you can use something like this. I think it's like a little pie tin type thing. Just something to dump it in out of your bowl so you can play in it easier. Or you can play just right in the bowl. That's fine too. Okay. All right, then you also need 2 measuring cups. So you need one that is 1 cup and one that is half a cup. Okay? And then last but not least, these last few things are optional, but you can store it in a plastic baggie, like a Ziploc bag, a gallon size. You can store it like that. Or this is one I made the other day. You can just put the pan like right in there, or the Tupperware or the glass dish or whatever. Or you can store it in this. So something to store it with after. It does store really well. It doesn't have to be refrigerated, but you can if you want. Just out on the counter is fine. And then the other 2 things are a whisk and or a fork. I like to mix personally with my hands. It is a sensory activity, so it makes sense to do it with your hands. But if it's too hard, or maybe your bowl isn't super big and so it's kind of getting all over the place, when you start out, you can totally use one of these to help you. And then optional but fun, or you can include some things to play in the moon sand with. So I have like little trucks and things like that, or I have a big bag of Legos. So just things like that that you can find, or you can just play with the sand by itself. All right, awesome, good job. Now that we have all of our supplies, we are going to get started on actually making our moon sand. So luckily, it only requires the 2 ingredients: oil, the baby oil, and flour. Super easy. So it can be done so easily, which leaves more time for playing, which is the best part. So we're gonna grab first our mixing bowl and put it right in front of us, okay? I'm gonna change my view here so you can kind of see, okay? So you just grab your mixing bowl, put it right in front of you. All right? Now we are going to grab our flour and our measuring cup that says 1 cup. I don't know if you can see mine. It's kind of hard to see there. But 1 cup looks like this. You can also use your hand if you want, but make sure you don't reach right into the flour. You'd have to scoop it out first. Okay? Another thing to note is to be really careful about where you're doing this. Probably in the kitchen is probably best. Or if it's nice where you live outside right now, you can totally go outside and do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 1 cup and we're going to, I don't even know if it'll fit in here. Just a sec. I'm just going to dump it in. I don't want to get it all over the place. So we're going to just dump it in to the cup and fill it up. Okay? If you need help with this, if it's kind of hard to do, you can ask an older sibling or someone that's taking care of you. You can use a spoon to get it out of the container that it's in, like the bag or something. That looks about a cup. Okay, so now we have a cup, and we're gonna pour it right into our bowl, like that. Okay, now we're gonna do one more, so it's gonna be 2 total, okay? 2 cups of flour, and this is just regular flour you would find in your pantry to bake with. Okay. All right, a little bit more there. All righty. So our second cup of flour, and now I'm just gonna dump it in. See that? All right, I'll let you guys kind of figure that out and got that going. All right, oops, sorry. Now I'm going to close up my flour, set it off to the side because we won't need any more of this. If you want to make more moon sand than this one serving, you would just have to double everything or do it again. So you can ask someone to help you with that if you need help, or you can practice some more math skills and doubling it yourself. Up to you. So we're just going to do the regular 2 cups here, and then we're going to grab the baby oil, okay? And then we are also going to grab our measuring cup that is 1/2 cup, okay? See that? All right, now we're gonna undo the baby oil and take the measuring cup. And you're gonna fill the measuring cup with baby oil. See, I'm just squirting it right in there. Now I'm gonna move it over top so I don't spill on the counter. Okay, now once you have your 1/2 cup, you're just gonna dump it right on top of the flour, okay? Good job. All right, now that that's in there, you can either take your hands or you can take a fork or a whisk, and you're just gonna mix it all in, okay? So you're gonna take it and you're gonna mix and mix and mix. Alrighty. Keep mixing it. Oh. You can just kind of feel what it feels like in your hands to mix it. You can look at see what it looks like. Don't want to taste it, of course, but you can see what it looks like and it feels like. Maybe what does it smell like? Does your baby oil have a smell? Mine kind of, I don't know, smells like babies, but it smells really good. Okay. All right, so once you start mixing it all together, it's kind of going to look like dough, right? And look at what color it is. It's kind of a dark color, right? Yeah, it kind of looks like a dark color. So I'm just going to kind of roll it out and like make it break up a little bit more so it doesn't look so clumpy. All right. All right, now that we have that, I'm just going to clean off my hands a little bit just because they're a little messy. Okay, that is your 2-ingredient moon sand. It looks kind of weird, huh? But you'll see how we can play with it here. So why don't you grab your tray or your sheet pan, or like your little, like I have this little pie tin type thing. Okay. And we're just going to dump it right in. Ooh. All right. Perfect. Now it just kind of looks like that. All right, that's your moon sand, and now it's ready to play with. See it? So why don't we play with this a little bit, and we can kind of talk a little bit about what sensory even means. I've said that a few times now, but what do you think sensory means? Does anyone know? A sensory experience is an activity that helps us further use and focus on one of our 5 senses. So I've named a few. So what are the 5? Anyone name them? The first one is touch, right? We're touching this. It's also taste. You don't want to taste it, but what sort of things does it smell like? That's another one, smell. What does it look like? Mine kind of looks like cookie dough. Kind of looks like cookie dough in a way. Or what else does it look like? Kind of looks like sand on a beach. And what does it sound like? So pick it up. Does it sound like anything? Mine kind of does. Like when you rub it together, it kind of sounds like something. Okay? So if those are our 5 senses, and us playing with moon sand with our hands is a sensory experience, which ones do you think this falls into? All right. Basically all of them, except for taste, because we don't want to taste it. So what do you think we're focusing on right now with those the sensory experience using our senses? What's our main focus? Touch. What are some other experiences that you can think of that would utilize touch? So we know that this is an experience that utilizes touch. What else would work? What sort of things that are fun to play with your hands? What about maybe silly putty? Or slime? That's a big one. Or even something that you find in nature. What's something you could find in nature that provides a sensory experience? Mud. Also, like leaves provide a sensory experience in the fall. Hearing them crunch, the way they feel underneath your feet. If you like to jump in a giant leaf pile, that's part of a sensory experience. So, if we know all of these things about sensory experiences, how does that relate to being able to cope or to be able to handle different situations or stress? How could this moon sand that's fun to play with, how could that help our coping? I don't know about you, but sometimes when we get overwhelmed or anxious, it can be really hard to not focus on that overwhelming thought or that feeling, right? I don't know, maybe you got embarrassed about something and you can't stop thinking about how you wish it hadn't happened. Or you have a test coming up, and the more you feel like you study, the more stressed out you become. Well, hanging out in that stressful thought over and over doesn't really help it go away, does it? Right. But a sensory experience like playing with moon sand can help you focus on one of your 5 senses instead of that thought. So what's something that we could kind of build while we're doing this? What's something we can focus on besides just the touch that we can build? I'm going to start kind of building a circle. Maybe I'll build a couple more. I'll make like a little Mickey Mouse or something. Stick them together. Stuff like that. What other things do you think you can do? I'm going to clean off my hands a little bit. I got a little sticky. And if yours starts, once you kind of warm it up in your hands, you can see mine starting to clump together quite a bit. You can add more flour. So let me show you. You can add more flour if you need a little bit more to make it kind of looser. You can add some more. Okay. So we can add that in. See how it's kind of making it loose again? There you go. What sort of things are you guys going to build or play with? If you were to go, I don't know, play at the beach, what would you build in a sandcastle with? Would you build it with your hands? Would you build it with tools? I usually like to just build sandcastles just with my hands. It's kind of fun. But I also like to bring toys. So what sort of toys do you think we could put in here that could help with our sensory experience? That could help us calm down if we're stressed out, focus on something else, have something to do with our hands. I mentioned a few at the beginning. Does anyone remember? Yeah, so we have things like a truck or a car, or we have something like Legos. Okay, let me find some Legos here. Oops. A Lego, a couple more. Oh, I'm dropping things. All right, so you can stick these right in your sand, okay, to play with. So maybe I'm building on a beach a sandcastle made out of Legos. I mean, it's kind of not a sandcastle, but it kind of could be. So you can like push it down in the sand, could build it up. Or maybe you have a giant truck that's in it. You can use the side of your pan even to like help with the whatever you're making. And we got that right here. Okay. Different things like that. And the nice thing about the moon sand, and it is only made of 2 ingredients, right? Flour and baby oil, is it stores really well and it cleans really well. So if it gets inside your Lego pieces like this, or maybe it gets stuck in the wheels of your truck, all you have to do is, when you're done playing with them, run them under the water in the sink and it'll come out. And then you just let them dry and you can put them away back in your toy box. Pretty cool, right? I think it's pretty cool. So we know that sensory experiences help us with calming down, coping, having something else to focus on. Sometimes I never know what to do with my hands. If I'm sitting at a table for too long, sometimes I like to color or something like that. This could be another good activity for you to do where you can build something, especially if you live in a place maybe where it's cold in the wintertime. So you want to go to the beach, but you can't because it's December, maybe it's really cold and you still have some school left. Well, you can bring the sand to your home. You can play in it and build things. You can create things. You also can add other like colors to this. So you could ask one of your parents, you can add food coloring to it as well. Kind of changes the way it'll look if you want to make different colors of sand. Right? And like I said before, if it gets too oily, like if it's kind of sticking together too much, you want it to be more sand-like and grainy, you can add more flour, which I can add even more. Watch, I'll just dump some in. Doesn't really matter. Oh, I forgot about my Legos. Look at that. And you just mix it with your hands. Even the mixing is part of that sensory experience that you're having. See how mine's like really grainy now? Oh, I love that. That's cool. Look at that. It's kind of like a waterfall. Look at that. Oh, I lost one of my Legos. You also could hide stuff in it too. You could try and do this with a sibling or maybe a friend. You could have some moon sand like in a tray, and maybe you hide some Legos and you have to like dig for the Legos. That would be kind of fun. That sort of stuff, right? So anything that uses your 5 senses is a sensory experience, right? So maybe you smell a really pretty candle, something that smells like gingerbread or smells like trees or smells like citrus. Any of those things, any of those smells would count as a sensory experience. Maybe you have a memory of, I don't know, citrus. Smells like oranges in the summertime. That sort of thing. That would be a sensory experience. Or smelling something. Sight can also be a sensory experience. Touch, of course. Hearing things, like listening to music. That's using one of your senses. The reason why touch is so good is because you're physically holding on to something and it's telling your brain to focus on that instead. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but like with music or someone talking. It's really easy to kind of not pay attention or drown it out. It's harder to do that with something like touch. So you're more focused on this than you are on that pesky little thought inside your head. Right? Okay, cool. Look, I'm making a mess now. But that's okay. Just cleans up with water, so. Alright? Now remember, the more flour you add, the more sand you technically have, so could get kind of big. And it clumps together like this. You can actually like build stuff. See that? Well, that wasn't very good. Try and make a person. Alright. Do you guys think you know something new about sensory activities from today? I think I do. All right, and like I said, I've done this a few times now, but just kind of cleaning off my hands. Paper towel, just kind of clean off your hands. And then you can just wash them in the sink. It's no big deal. Okay. And then when you're ready to store it, you can store it right in this container. If your parents are okay with the container that you chose, you can just store it right in here. You can take your, your Legos and stuff out so you don't lose them, or if you need them for a different project. Or you can leave them right in there, okay? It's not going to hurt them. And then you're going to take that Ziploc bag, the gallon-sized Ziploc bag, right? Okay. And then you're just going to slide it on inside, okay? And then close it. And it sits out. You can just sit it out on the counter. And then it stays good for a while. I have the one that I made, I believe it was about a week ago. You can see that the color's a little bit different. See, this one's a little bit darker. Well, this one still works just as well. I just added a bunch more flour to it. See? It's almost exactly the same. All right? You just build it up. And it still works, just like that. And I can put new Legos in this one and all sorts of stuff. So it holds for a really long time. Like I said, I've had this together for over a week, and it still is really good just in the Ziploc bag. Okay. You also can put it in Tupperware that has like a lid that goes on it and like snaps. That would work too. You just want to make sure that there's no air inside that gets inside, so it doesn't dry out the sand. That's it. Pretty cool. Easy to store, easy to make, because it's only 2 ingredients. I don't know, what do you guys think? I don't know if anyone's made sensory sand before. I'd never made sensory sand before, but now I have 2 of them, and I think it's pretty fun. All right, awesome. Good job, you guys. I'm so glad you hopefully enjoyed learning about sensory sand and, the different benefits it can give you when you're feeling stressed, the different senses, all sorts of stuff like that. All right, well, thank you for playing with me today, you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to, hopefully see some of your guys' different sensory sands, maybe put a color in it or something like that. Awesome. Well, good job, you guys. I hope you guys join us for our other lives later in the week. All righty. Thank you, guys. Bye.